Welcome to TwoQuestions.tv. I'm Susan Baroncini-Moe. Joining me today is Jason Green. He's a managing director with Alvarez Marsal, with nearly 30 years of consulting experience with senior management teams at companies across industries and global markets to create and sustain growth. He's the co-author of this book, Optimizing Growth, Predictive and Profitable Strategies to Understand Demand and Outsmart Your Competitors. We love that. Hi, Jason. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks very much for having me.
Well, okay, so for our viewers and listeners who are waiting for their copies of your book to arrive, give us a big picture overview. What's the story?
Yeah, sure. So my co-authors and I have been working in consulting for a long time, as you mentioned. Mm-hmm. And what we noticed was that there's a lot of headwinds as it comes to driving profitable growth sustainably. So a number of headwinds in terms of economic conditions, demographic shifts, technology, and of course, disruption in most industries, right? Yes. Huge disruption in retail or in financial services or across multiple industries. And so what we recognized was that the traditional playbook that many of these companies were using just wasn't having the same kind of results anymore.
Yeah.
And so what we tried to do was look at the sort of tried and true approaches to driving growth, but turbocharge them with digital capabilities and with big data analytics, and in some cases get to a new way of replacing some of those tried and true approaches altogether. But mostly taking the existing approaches and turbocharging them through big data analytics and digital, and in some cases kind of rethinking those old approaches altogether.
Okay, so let's talk about big data for a minute, because big data is clearly important, clearly offers a level of precision that's really necessary for business growth today. And yet, it's super intimidating to a lot of people. So you say in the book, big data should be a part of the answer to profitable growth now and in the future, and it's important to understand its limitations too. So could you talk a little bit about how do we not become so intimidated by big data, and what are the limitations of it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question because it has become such a buzzword, and I apologize for using the buzzword.
You have to, though, that we all know what you're talking about then.
Right, exactly. And so, one of the dangers is that people sort of think big data is going to be this magic wand or a panacea for all of the growth-related issues. It does not replace your critical thinking and your problem solving. So what we found to be incredibly useful is to think through the frameworks and approaches, and this is what we try to give people. We try to give people the whole gamut from, paper and pencil thought exercises all the way to big data analytics. Yeah. But if you start with those kind of paper and pencil thinking through and creating the framework, now you can leverage big data to the extent that you can to test those hypotheses that you've created. What we have seen is the opposite, where people plow through mountains and mountains of big data, and they get to some kind of correlation that is completely spurious. Right?
Yes.
They think they're seeing causality, but in fact they're not. And so they go down a rabbit hole of chasing something that's completely erroneous. So again, if you start from the critical thinking that that the humans are doing, not the machines, and think through and create the frameworks, now you can apply big data analytics to test your hypotheses and help you, as you said, get to finer and finer levels of precision or granularity.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, anyone who understands spuriousness is okay in my book. There's so many people who are like clueless about that, and it makes me crazy. Yeah. Jason, where can folks find you?
So I am with Alvarez Marsal, as you mentioned. I happen to be in the Chicago office here, and you can find me on their website.
Wonderful. And we'll have links to your LinkedIn and to the website in the show notes for today. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Susan.
All right, viewers, here is the book. You want to understand profitable growth strategies that are important now and in the future? This is the one. We're going to have links to Amazon, so you can get your copy down below, show notes, to make sure you get it so you can understand this stuff. It's really important. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.